So that is how I would recommend structuring your journaling practice for music. Now, the journal keeps you accountable. It is hopefully bringing more awareness into these elements that you are actively trying to get better at. And we can actually track if we are improving or not, right? Or we can be more specific on what we think we need to improve upon, and we can devise ways of improving. It's important to take an element of curiosity into this. Oftentimes we can get very frustrated if we're like playing a chord and it's just not sounding right. We have buzzing or muting or what have you. I often see this happen quite a lot. And then when I walk students through how to troubleshoot, then they start to understand how to make that chord sound proper. Rather than just getting discouraged or frustrated, we can take an approach of curiosity. What if I change this angle? What if I try moving my body in this way? What if I, and then actually see for yourself what works. We're going to be handling those problems in a future episode, like directly actually telling you what you can do to optimize the sound you're getting from chords or what have you. But we can also start to figure this out for ourselves, because at some point you might encounter things that aren't as obvious, that you need to figure out for yourself. And this is what we would do. We construct an experiment. I often also say it's really important that we write down how long we intend on practicing and then how long we actually did practice. This is because it's very easy to get distracted when we're practicing, or meditating for that matter. And we can be all geared up to do it. We can sit down and I'm going to practice for 10 minutes or something. We get into it, we're practicing, 3 minutes goes by and we're bored already. And we've kind of lost focus, we're drifting, we're scrolling on our phone or what have you. And then we think, yeah, okay, that's enough. And then you go do something else. Now, it's okay if you do that. All of the stuff that I'm saying is not what we want to be doing. It's okay if you do that. That's going to be the general rule, is that like this is what people will do. And I am just providing an alternative. The alternative is to hold yourself to that 10-minute intention, or 20 minutes or half an hour, however much you decide. But we want to make it manageable. And so then when we go over time as well, then we can think, I chose to do it longer than 10 minutes or what have you. Even if it's 5 minutes, if we're building a daily guitar practice or daily musical practice, 5 minutes per day is great to build that habit. And it's all about building the habit and the desire to come back. The journaling will show us the improvements that we've made, right? And we also must be journaling what we think we are doing well and when we have solved an issue from the past, right? We can always look back and read our past entries and think, oh, that's no longer a problem. I fixed that problem, and this is how I did it, right? So I encourage you to be quite detailed in your journaling. Now, there's going to be times when you don't journal. That's fine. I don't necessarily journal my practices all the time. I don't necessarily journal at all the time. I went through a really long time of journaling every day, and even journaling my meditations and things every day as well. But this isn't really necessary to do it all the time, and we have to be compassionate with ourselves when we fall back into old patterns or we aren't doing things to the utmost degree. But I want to emphasize this. Even if we take some aspect of this, anything that we've talked about so far, and apply it into our practicing, we are doing more than what most people do. Seriously. And we want to let that sink in, is that any of these concepts that I've kind of put forward is quite a bit more than what the average person learning an instrument will be doing in their practice. So even if you just do a little bit of journaling, like write down how long you wanted to do it, and you don't even write down what you did or how you fixed problems or whatever, even just journaling, I did it for 10 minutes today, and then the next day. I did it for 20 minutes today. I did it for 5 minutes today. That's building a habit. And we can kind of build upon this as it becomes more ingrained into our practice. Most people learning an instrument don't actually practice every day, right? Even though every teacher all over the world says you should be practicing every day, right? And my philosophy here is that we want to build a habit to the degree that even if we miss a few days, it's not like we have to start from square one. Oh, I broke my streak or whatever, right? Forget about streaks. We want it to be like, the rule is that I practice every day. And if I miss it on Sunday or the odd Tuesday or a busy day, it's no big deal, because the next day it's already so ingrained that you're going to be doing it. You already know that you are. It's basically as important as like brushing your teeth or something. Hopefully you're brushing your teeth on a daily basis, if not more than once a day. When it comes to learning a skill, we also want to be doing it on a daily basis. And if we have a journal practice associated with that and a mindful practice associated with that, then we are already doing so much more than the average person does with their practice. So please try out this technique and see for yourself what can be gained from them. And if it's valuable to you, hold on to it and keep doing it. And if you fall away from it, the healing is in the return, as Sharon Salzberg says. See you in the next video. Something I wanted to add is that we should also do our best to set a timer and stick to the timer. So 10 minutes, you set a timer, the timer goes off, you can stop, but we're not stopping before that timer goes off. Another thing that we can do to kind of optimize our practice session is set your phone to silent or to airplane mode, so you're not going to be getting text messages or notifications from whatever social media platform you're on, or have it light up for whatever reason, or be there kind of distracting you. We can also do what's called put our phone into focus mode. For myself, I use my phone sometimes as a guitar tuner when I don't have, a snark around, and sometimes as a metronome, right, for practice. And if you're setting a timer, the most obvious thing to use would be your phone for that, okay? So this is something that we can do. Is a lot of phones are coming with, I can't remember exactly what they're called, but but at least a lot of phones are coming with these things that you can kind of add on, or you can maybe get an app that does it, and it's called focus mode. Focus mode will block certain applications for a certain amount of time, or until you turn it off. So you can hit focus mode and it'll block all the things that normally would distract you. Your social media platforms, anything that is going to be distracting. And so even if you go to click on it, it's not going to open, okay? And this can really assist, because one of the biggest distractions that we have, one of the biggest sucks to our time that we have now, are our smartphones, honestly. Now, they are amazing tools, so I don't want to say be one of those people that's like a Luddite when it comes to them. They're incredible tools, but we want to, again, become a little bit more mindful of our usage of them, especially when it comes to learning skills or trying to be mindful. If we are doing a sitting meditation, for instance, and your phone is buzzing every couple minutes or seconds even, sometimes people like to text me in rapid fire, and it's very distracting, and it makes it seem like there's an emergency happening, and then you look at the text messages and it's all just funny stuff, right? But it's a rapid fire, like you're vibrating all the time. And so you just flip that into focus mode or airplane mode, and then you can check afterwards, right? So that's just something I wanted to add to the last video, is we can optimize our practice session and not be distracted by setting a timer and also putting our phone into focus mode, and maybe even letting people in our house know, either children, spouses, roommates, or what have you, that during this chunk of time, I'm going to be busy, and please don't distract me. Or you will answer a certain thing when it's appropriate after the time has elapsed, unless it's an emergency, of course. People should always be able to get a hold of you if it's an emergency. Okay, so with that said, we can implement that if we like or not. It's up to you.